Premier didn't meet the Voice for Victims official delegation, rushed legislation without consultation, and reportedly said from Italy there were no issues at home.
The rumours have been swirling for weeks.
Fending off speculation about her future in the top job.
There are growing calls for Queensland Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk to hand over the reins.
They're hoping Annastacia Palaszczuk quits the top job before the next election.
Today, the leadership danger system went from high to extreme, the LNP pouring petrol on the sparks of a potential spill.
Has the Youth Justice Minister been working to fix the Queensland youth crime crisis or leaking to the media against the Premier?
Rather than fixing the Queensland health crisis in the job she's got, has the Health Minister been leaking to the media to get the job she wants?
If the Premier can't govern her ministers, how can she govern Queensland?
Labor attempting to extinguish the flames.
You want to talk about instability, Mr Speaker? You can't get a leader on that side that lasts more than one term.
You can't run a question time strategy. You can't run Queensland.
They think that because they say something often
Member
enough,
for Surface
it's
Paradise.
True.
But history would suggest where there's smoke, there's often fire.
Can I confirm I will be a candidate in tomorrow's ballot?
He's my leader. There you go.
And I'm ambitious for him.
Yeah, good on you. Thanks, ScoMo.
Congratulations to Scott Morrison. I thank Malcolm Turnbull very much for his service as Prime Minister.
Deputy Leader Stephen Miles and Health Minister Shannon Fentiman rumoured contenders for Queensland's top job.
We're hearing from sources that they don't feel that the Premier is particularly approachable, that they don't feel involved in the whole of government decision-making.
So how has a once wildly popular government become so volatile?
Youth crime has been a huge issue, and you've got a government that is managing an issue like that in a way that it's really losing supporters left and right.
And that's resulted in a massive hit in the polls.
And all point to Labor losing government in October next year. Some people have said to me that they don't think they can win unless there's a reset of the government.
So can Annastacia shift that warning arrow back to moderate, or is her leadership headed straight for a catastrophe?
If you vote for us, you put your trust in us, that is what we will deliver.
Amy Remeikis is here to talk us through the latest Queensland drama. Amy, what is the likelihood of Annastacia Palaszczuk actually being rolled?
Look, if it was tomorrow, I would say that, there's no likelihood of this happening in the short term, but you'd have to be pretty delulu to believe that there's not actual problems and that the Cabinet is not looking at some other issues and some other potential contenders. So I would be actually probably very surprised if Annastacia Palaszczuk led the Labor Party to the next Queensland election, which is in October next year, but I don't think anything is going to happen in the short term.
So do you think she'll be forced to resign instead?
I'm not sure if she'll be forced to resign. I think there's a lot that's been going on with our state premiers, and we saw that in WA with Mark McGowan, him leaving because of fatigue. We saw it in the Northern Territory where, again, we had somebody say, I need to go because of fatigue. Daniel Andrews is holding on, but he's looking pretty tired. And Annastacia Palaszczuk, well, she's running a third-term government. And for all my astrology girlies out there, that's like Saturn returns. It's just not a great time for a government to be in. It's basically when all of the wheels start falling off in the third term. And if there's not some sense of renewal, then people are saying, well, why are we voting for the same old thing? We're just going to get exactly the same thing that we have been getting. And so you often see governments go through some stage of renewal in that third term to try and offer a fresh offering to voters before the next election.
Meanwhile, the election's close, right? 13 months away. Looking at the polls, Labor would have to be pretty delulu to think they're going to win. And so if they're going to move, they kind of have to move now, don't they?
Well, they would have to move soon, but they're not going to move in the middle of this where it looks like it's come from the media and because of the LNP. They're going to let the dust settle, I think, and then reassess where they're at. I mean, Annastacia Palaszczuk did win an unwinnable election. She has been wildly popular in the past. She has kept that cabinet and that government together. So I wouldn't rule her completely out, but I think we are going to see over the next couple of months a few more signs that maybe Queensland is looking for a new leader.
Now, Amy, if she does go, there's obviously, if you talk of few potential candidates, I don't really know how politics work, but is there any chance that Tom Tate, Gold Coast Mayor, could kind of end up in the hot seat in Queensland? If he delivers the gains, could he be in the top job?
Look, never say never. Campbell Newman was outside of the parliament when he was elected Premier of Queensland, so I would never say that a mayor could not make it as the supreme leader of the greatest nation on earth, Queensland.
Not just any mayor, though. I mean, we need to be clear. Tom Tate, what a candidate.
Well, he's the mayor's mayor.
Yeah.
He's the mayor that all the mayors look up to.
Yeah. He is the supreme mayor of all the mayors, it is true, but I'm also not sure that Tom Tate would ever want to give up the Gold Coast, which is where I'm from, because why would you?
Oh, this is very, very true. Amy Remeikis, always great to chat. We need to have more political reporters using Delulu, by the way. Get behind that one. Thanks for your time.